What's going on, guys? So today we're looking at a Bestech Shrapnel. All right, this is the one that I was carrying. I do have another one over there in the pouch, so I can show you a different color option. I think there's like 3 or 4 different colors. This one's considered the green, and I don't know how the camera's going to pick this up, but it is very much like a bluish green. A lot of blue in there. It kind of changes a little bit as you're tilting it and how different light hits it. This one you can see there's gold accents. All right, so we have gold backspacer, a gold pocket clip, and a gold pivot collar. All right, which is really nice, but the color pops completely. It's awesome. Speaking of gold, the spare one, here's the pouch that comes with each one. All right, here's a gold one. This one's gold with the kind of flat, you know, bare metal look, although there is a slightly bluish pivot collar on this particular one. But just want to show you a different color option here. In the case, you can see it holds 2 different knives. It's actually really rigid. All right, so it's not easy to squish that, and they go in an opposing side so that if you have 2 blades in there, they're not rubbing on each other when you close it. And of course, you get like one of those wipe down cloths. So that is that. Let's put that to the side and talk about this one, since this is the one that I used. So first off, some different specs. Our blade is an S35 VN. You can see is down on the bottom there. You can also see that it says Shrapnel. It's kind of hit or miss to me as far as, like, you know, different logos and wording on the blades. Some people have a problem with that. They think it's ugly. I don't really care if it's super big or something. Sometimes it looks out of place. In this particular case, I would probably prefer it not to say Shrapnel on there. They could have put that down on the bottom or something, but that really doesn't mean that much. Just personal preference, I guess. But yeah, 3.5 inches of that S35 VN. Closed, it is 4.8 inches. All right, it does have a titanium frame, which obviously is colored. We'll talk about that in a moment. 8.3 inches overall, and the weight is 4.7 ounces. All right, so it's that sweet spot where it's a little bit of a chunk, but it doesn't feel heavy at all. All right, when you're carrying this, it doesn't seem like a big deal at all. So first, let's actually start with the pocket clip. Since we're talking about carrying things, it carries very nicely as far as the tension on the pocket clip. I do like the style quite a bit, but it does carry high. All right, there's a lot of knife sticking out there, more so than, you know, what I've been used to lately. So it would kind of seem pronounced, and it kind of felt like there was a lot of knife to grab onto. That's the pro side of it. The negative is if you want a deep concealed clip, you're not going to have one on here, obviously. If I flip it over, you can see that it is not swappable. All right, so that pocket clip, tip up, right side carry, that's where it is. You can take it off, but you can't move it anywhere. Huge lanyard hole on this one. All right, so if you're one of those people that love throwing your lanyards on, you can certainly do so with this. It is a frame lock. You can see the lockup right there. It is pretty early, which is good for a lot of people. You can see the blade centering, which is pretty close to center. I mean, to me, it looks like it is a hair to the right side, or this side over here, like that little wiggle, as opposed to this side. But there's no rubbing or anything, no issues at all. It is super smooth. It is running on a ceramic ball bearing system. All right, flips out very well. One negative to this is when I first got it, it kind of felt weird to flip this out with my fingertip. All right, so using my fingertip, the D10 is very strong on this. All right, so it is uncomfortable with the fingertip, and I automatically went to using the side of my finger. It's just something I do with all flippers. All right, this is how I'm most comfortable in opening a flipper. All right, but if that's uncomfortable because the D10 is too strong, or if the flipper design is kind of funky or uncomfortable, then I revert to using the side of my finger, which I've talked about in videos. And then, of course, most recently, I talked about using the thumb thing. All right, that works fine with this one. But anyway, just something worth mentioning. It does have a stronger detent. You can see there's an opening slot in the blade here. All right. Also, in opening this, it's too hard because of that detent for me to comfortably open it with the one thumb. Now you can see I can, but it's a struggle. And like my fingertips, you can see the dents in my fingertips because I'm putting so much pressure on the frame trying to, you know, counterbalance me pushing my thumb out. And even right now, I literally can't open this. There we go. You can hear it pop, right? So what you can do, though, look at those dents in my finger, is you can use the middle finger in a pinch grip with the thumb, all right? And that's a lot easier, okay? So if you didn't want to flip it open, you want to open nice and slow, use both those fingers in that pinch grip to get it started, and then you can open it slowly if need be. So, I mean, the big negative here, obviously, is that it has a strong detent. Now, that strong detent means it's not going to accidentally open up. You're not going to accidentally just, even with a really good flick, you're not going to get this thing to open up on accident. The advantage of having a stronger detent is when that finally does give, it opens super fast. All right, so it's kind of give and take there, but definitely worth considering as far as comfort. So let's look at the blade. All right, this comes to a very acute point, so you have a very stabby tip, if you will. I do like the two-tone on this blade. All right, the flat portion is kind of a higher satin finish. All right, so a lot of glare, kind of shiny, whereas all the grinds are more of a dull matte finish, possibly a very fine sandblasting or something similar. Might be hard to see in this lighting. Might almost be too much light to pick up on that, but hopefully you guys can tell the difference. So the one thing that stands out with this knife is all the detail work. All right, there's a very fine texturing. All right, you can see those lines there. So it ends up being pretty comfortable. It's not like super grippy, but you can definitely tell that it's there when your fingers are on it. It doesn't want to slide as easy as if it was smooth. There's just a ton of CNC work on this, basically. So besides that grip, you can see how it's angled or chamfered on the edges here. But they did this right. Sometimes when you get the angles on top, it makes like a really thin edge, and then it's uncomfortable for your thumb to rest on there. Whereas this case, even though this is angled heavily on both sides, it's still thick enough on the very edge where it's comfortable to put your thumb anywhere on here. Also, you can notice a little bit of jimping on the back of the blade, which is not that functional, more for looks than anything. You could feel it, but it's not facilitating a ton of grip or anything. You can see it is kind of a half and half flow-through design with that spacer taking up about half of that space. Again, some more detail cuts in the spacer. Our pivot screw itself is really kind of decorative. We have a gold pivot collar that goes around it. And of course the cutouts or step-ups on that. It just gives it a really nice appearance. All right, if you wanted to pull this off as a gentleman's knife or something, you could see these screw heads on the back, but it still has the same treatment on there, which is very nice. Also, since we're in close, you could see the screw for the lock bar insert. All right, the zoom in might get a little bit more detail on that. Once it focuses, you can see the insert there. All right, steel reinforced piece, which is very nice since the frame is titanium. Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice knife. It has a very kind of Asian appearance to me as far as the design goes. But super fine point, that could be a negative. I mean, if you don't want a super fine point because you're using a knife pretty rough. I was actually talking to someone not too long ago about this particular knife and telling them how impressed I was. And they said they're really rough with their knives. And I said, well, it might not be for you. Just because of that blade style, it is kind of a modified drop point. But it comes to such a fine point, kind of like something similar to the Kershaw Leak. You know, Kershaw Leak, fantastic knife. If you use your knives hard, you're going to break that tip off. In fact, half of the Kershaw Leaks out there probably have broken tips because people use their knives for all kinds of stuff instead of just cutting. So it's just something to consider. If you're a little bit heavier handed on your, different chores I guess you use your knives for, it might not be for you. But if you want some fine cutting, it is nice having that extra fine point. It is very comfortable in the hand. We have a lot of sharp lines here. There's not a lot of natural organic curves in this. They're just kind of just straight angles and lines and stuff. And you can see the pivot area here does not look like would be something that was comfortable. Kind of a harsh line here, and then it comes up here and down and over, and it looks kind of jagged, but everything's super soft. There's no sharp edges anywhere on here at all, and it's very comfortable to lock your finger deep into that little crevice there for the finger choil. Also, this tiny little relief cut doesn't look like much, but it does give you enough room. So when you're sweeping your thumb down, you catch that lock bar every time. All right, so I'm not, surpassing over it or anything like that. So although it doesn't look very comfortable, it really is. Pretty darn ergonomic. Like I said, it's not a super deep finger choil. There's no crazy lines on this or anything, so it can fit most people's hands. If you have smaller hands, it's not going to be a problem at all. If you have larger hands, you can see in my hand, I get a full grip on this. Not much extra going on there, but if you do have a bigger hand, even if you have huge hands, I would imagine your pinky might be still half on that grip. All right, so I think ergos are going to be good for, you know, pretty much everyone who'd be interested in it. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to it than that. Locks up totally fine. There's no blade play at all. Performance is fantastic. Price, because that's what always matters, right? $175. Pretty consistent at $175. Again, S35VN for our blade, titanium frame lock, all right? The ceramic ball bearing system, as well as the steel reinforced piece in the lock bar. I would say those are all great features for the price. You know, they could probably have sold this for $200, maybe even $210, $220 or something, and people would still be buying them. So I think there's a lot of value here. Again, I mean, the Chinese high-end knife market is just killing it. This is a very impressive blade for me for the price. I really do think that it's worth every penny if it's a design and has the features that, you know, you're looking for specifically. Pretty cool knife though. Do like it. Again, only drawback to me that stands out is very heavy detent. That could be good or it could be bad depending on who you are, and that fine point, which again could be bad or good depending on what you need your knife for or what you're looking to use it for. But the color's pretty cool. It's just different. I like it a lot. That kind of blue-green. And like I said, I think this is one of 4 different colors. I think they actually have a blue one, which is definitely more blue than this, but it might be deceiving. Sometimes you look at it, sometimes it looks like a really light blue, like aqua blue. Sometimes it looks green to me, but it's just cool, a little different. I do like the gold accents. So yeah, Bestech Shrapnel, overall, pretty impressed. Good stuff. So if you happen to have a Shrapnel, let me know down below what you think of it. Or if you have a different knife from Bestech, let me know what you think of it. Their knives range anywhere from $50 all the way up to like $250. That's what I've seen so far. So pretty cool though. This is my first experience with the company. Like I said, I have another model that we'll be checking out in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Looking forward to the comments down below and hearing what you think of your Bestechs. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Take care.